Hello guys, now we are going to see the Keres attack in the Sicilian Scheveningen, and the Keres attack is the 6th move g4, and let's see the system. Now e4 c5, knight f3 e6, d4 cd4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3 d6 and g4, uh, causing the game to enter the Keres attack, a sharp line which we can consider as an important independent possibility arising from the uh, canonical Scheveningen order. Notice that the analogous white sixth move is not possible in Najdorf. Uh, Now h6, the most principal answer. Black can also let white attack continue and hope it burns out. After knight to c6, then g5, then knight to d7, and bishop to e3. After bishop e7, now h4, and short castles by black, and black castles into it, a dangerous decision at the best of times. Now there are some beautiful attacking games for white, but amidst all the chaos, black's position continues to impress time and time again with its resilience. And now white goes queen d2 and a6 and long castles. This position has long been the subject of discussion. White will soon be ready for decisive action with f4 or rook h1. Rook h1, I mean from rook h1 to g1, then h5 push. Black will not be idle. He will take knight takes d4 and then b5 followed by bishop b7. He can complete his development. Once that has been done, his play comes apace as well. For instance, if he pushes b4 and the remaining knight to c5 or e5, his rooks may come to b8 and c8. Or black can opt for a pawn storm just as white has done on the opposite side. An exciting fight is guaranteed. So here h6, after h6, uh, h4 is played. Now knight c6 by black, the most normal and logical move. Here even bishop to e7 was also an often played line. The main idea was that after rook g1 by white, it can be met by d5, following the principle that a push on the flank should be countered by one in the center. The point of preparing with bishop e7 is that following the disruptive check, bishop b5 check, black can step aside with the king rather than having to weaken his center. He can put king f8. If at all this is played, he can go king f8. Yet despite the solid reasoning, this is not necessarily a healthy way for black to proceed. White now plays e5, and an example of how fast things can go wrong for black. So then here after bishop e7, if at all rook g1 d5 and bishop b5 check, knight d5 and bishop b5 and king f8, and this can be met with e5. And if at all, so and knight c6, instead of, if at all, after bishop e7, rook g1 and d5, if white takes on d5, then after knight takes d5, then knight takes d5 and knight takes d5 and queen takes d5. Black has obtained good results from this position. So let's go with the game. In the game, knight c6 is played. After knight c6, rook g1, then h5. This looks strange at first sight. With h6, black seem to be trying to slow down white's pawn storm a bit, but now he reverses his decision and provokes g5. Now gh5. And this is also paradoxical, but white benefits more from having the g file open. Practice has shown that after g5, now knight to g4 and bishop to e2 and queen b6, black doesn't have any problems at all. So here g takes h5. As you can see, the computer shows that g takes h5 is best, and now knight takes h5. Here, if at all rook takes h5 is played, then bishop g5, then rook to h8, obtaining the same position as in the game, but with one crucial difference. Black has lost the right to castle shot. This could be bad for him later. So it's correct to take the knight, and now bishop g5, knight f6, queen d2, queen b6 and knight b3. White does not want the queens to be traded because black would obtain an advantage in the endgame due to his better pawn structure. Now a6, black has managed to build a defensive setup with his pawns on the third rank. That is rather difficult to break down in practice. And the Swedish Grandmaster Ulf Andersson is a master of playing at this system. So now long castles and bishop d7. So I wanted to show you the Keres attack system, and we will be looking at two model games for white side and two model games for the black side. So thank you all.